So, Antonio is via Skype. He's Director General of Latido Films, quite acclaimed distribution and sales agency in Spain since 2015, as far as I'm concerned. Antonio, you see, this is Maya. The Constitution is the link. Borislav, he's producer of Western, and Kamen. He's the deputy director of the Bulgarian Film Center and also Media Desk Bulgaria. So I already gave a little intro, and I also send you the question I'm asking: how important it is for a film coming from a small audiovisual capacity country to be present and recognized at acclaimed film festivals, and in order to be sold at different territories. Since we have you online, I will start with the Constitution. Constitution was supported by media, by Remage, by the Croatian Audiovisual Film Center, and in a way it was a regional co-production, like the focus is on the regional co-production and the Czech Republic and the UK. It did quite well at home, but also what is important, the awards outside. So it won Grand Prix at Montreal Film Festival, and the most recent success was the Raindes Film Festival in London. It won 3 awards for the best screenplay, the best, help me Maya, best performance and best actor. I'll just give you the mic just to be
thank you.
Yeah, easier. I've read that your like kind of blog line or so, that it's the film a love story about hate. In many interviews, director Rajko Grlić pointed out it is a local story. But can be implied in any other country, and this was actually I think the point that media also recognized it, because I always have difficulties to explain applicants that local stories are also eligible, but you need to kind of wrap it up and package it so that it sounds European and it's applicable to the European. So maybe, Maya, you can tell us a bit how the production process went. Did you face also some challenges? And when was the moment and the timing for the distributors from Croatia and outside to be involved?
Well, just a quick then wrap about the financing. It was a four-part co-production with public finances from obviously Croatia, Slovenia, Macedonia, Czech Republic, and also we have a partner in UK. As you said, it was financed by the Media Development Fund and also Eurimage. Well, I have to be really, I want to say thank you, Antonio, again for participating in this film, because Latido came quite early on. They came in the script stage, and we were very happy to have this, to have them on board and to have this trust in the film, which is not always easy, I can imagine. For this, it was also help, surely, for the Eurimage money to have, you know, the contract with the renowned sales agent. So from the moment the film was finished, we had like 2 paths. Latido was took care of everything that happened on the international market, and they did really good, because the award count is over 30. So really, I'm sorry, I cannot remember them all, starting with Montreal, obviously. In Croatia, we were our distributor was Blitz. Hi, Anita. who also did a very good job so the film was really well received in cinemas here. But these two paths were very, very quite different, as I can expect is for any film. Because in Croatia it is local language, it is known actors, so it is quite a different packaging and quite a different selling point than it is for international thing. So I have also brought we did the first packaging, as a production company. The logline you mentioned is actually by Rajko Grlić, and it is really good one, so we all like it and we stick with it. We made the first trailer, which wasn't used by any distributor. So this is also, I think it's very interesting because it is, as you mentioned before, it is there must be this milestone and this step where when it stops to be an art and becomes a product. Well, so the Latido did a very nice trailer. I have it here so we can see it, and Blitz also did a trailer, which was also I'm very grateful for, because I don't have that experience that the distributor does the trailer, but they did, and it was very very successful, obviously, because we see that by the results.
Okay, I don't know if it's the moment now to see maybe the trailers so that we can continue with Antonio. So the first one is going to be by Blitz, right?
Profesore, znate moj muž, on je policajac i za 10 dana ima jedan ispit u Ustav Republike Hrvatske. Mora ga svi znati ko pjesmicu, pa ako bi vi mogli malo s njima.
Oprostite, ali zašto Srbi?
Zaljubila sam se. Budi pristojan, ne viliči, ne maši rukama. Ljubavi ne.
Šta je sad?
A karirana košulja nemaš takav pred profesorom. Dobar dan.
Vlast proizlazi iz naroda i pripada narodu kao zajednici slobodnih i ravnopravnih državljana. Vi ste Srbi. Otkrilo sam to, pa to se zna. Udba! Jao, tata, nije udba, provjerili smo. Gospođa Maja, vi ste jedna pristojna žena, ali on je vaš.
Šic? To je samo za frajere koji znaju Ustav.
Morat ćemo ubrzati temu. Stavite ruke ispred sebe ovako. Ovo je znanstveno dokazano, povezano sa različitim centrima u ljevoj i desnoj polovici mozga. Dakle, idemo.
Jednakost, nacionalna ravnopravnost, ravnopravnost polova, poštivanje prava čovjeka, osnovne su vrednote ustavnog poretka.
Bravo, Ljubav!
And the next one done by Latido.
Trudio si se. Ja sam žilavo kopile, tata.
Profesore. Ne znam kako kod vas, ali kod nas i susjedi to rade badava. Jako ste lijepi, Katarina.
Čujete? Vi ste korov. Zato što sam sve? Da.
Nama treba novi ustav. Država koja neće biti ni Srba, ni muslimana, ni cigana, ni židova, ni šiptara, ni pedera.
Muka nikad ne prestane do kraja. Pratite do smrti krivica. Taj osjećaj da si iznevjerio. Yeah.
Yes, completely a different tone of the film, I must say. Like it's a for us it was done as a comedy, and for international it was a lot of drama. So Antonio, I searched and checked your library, and yes, the Constitution kind of sticks out. So what was the trigger point for you to have a film from Croatia, from a small audiovisual capacity country, in your library? And since you were involved from the very beginning, actually, from the script.
As I say, I mean, we have movies from small countries. Now we have a movie from Ukraine, which is small, but it's a small proportion from the country. We like movies. What can I say? We fell in love with the screenplay of the Constitution. We knew the work of Rajko, and we thought that this film had all the elements that would make it potentially interesting. You were mentioning the European versus local issue. Is that European versus local? Is how well told is the local that makes things work all right. And this particular case, the Constitution has a fantastic story. It could happen everywhere, which is of course, the issue of repressed homosexuality, but also the issue of nationalities, the issue of prejudice, and how through conversation and dialogue, these things can be told and friendship emerge from the most strange places. And all those elements were in screenplays. So we were very happy to invoke that everything. We, as a sales agency, we can get involved with fish, or we can be involved just because we want to the next film of a director. So in all that scope, we can choose in case it was the screenplay that works. Also, of course, we the producers. So key issue, having the security that the producer could deliver on time and quality, because that's also very, very challenging for the sales agency. If what it is promised doesn't end, a problem. But even has a lot of good news and very high. But we have had in the past movies from Bulgaria, we have had in the past movies from the Eastern countries, and we will continue. Although it is, the movies are hard, very hard to sell, which is your heading.
You also received media funding for the Constitution, or not yet? I think you did, right? Did you apply for media funding?
Yeah, I don't know. You have to ask. I don't apply for this one. No.
Okay. Where are we now with the Constitution?
Sorry?
Where are we now with the Constitution in terms of the theatrical sales outside Croatia?
Theatrical sales outside Croatia, we had a fantastic seminar stage, and we have had some of the good sales, but it's not easy. The great thing is that the subject is very powerful, and it has a niche market, which goes beyond the fact that it's in a minority language with a non-actors, which is something we have to understand that we compete in a world market. And the distributors the movie, they have to fight against other movies that are opening that weekend, etc. They have to do their little calculations on how they can make the money back, which is normal. And in this case, one to come with this Constitution, with the awards, with the certification that the film works in all the audiences, that works with a lot of audiences award. For instance, the United States for the film. In ratings, I'm sure that will help us with the fine sale, and those things are must. But to start to be cheap that you can go with small movie, even as good as this one, to sell in the world is not viable. You have to go slowly and plan, and always. What I love about working with Mario and Rajka and that we're always in constant communication and talking strategies and seeing who would all of us help us to achieve the best result. And I think it's really positive. It was very good to work.
It's the work together all the time. Yeah. That matters.
Regarding the trailer, for instance, as you see, is totally different because our analysis was that this movie we had to address the audience that could be interested in the particular problematic was raised. And the humor in the movie was more for local audiences, so it would have not worked for international market. So that's why we did this trailer, which we are very, I think it's a great trailer. So one has to understand that our trailers are not for the audience. Our trailers are distributed by our movies. So it is a very particular type of audience, which is not your normal audience. The trailer of a local distributor has to address their local audience. Mine is to address the distributors from all over the world. I need them to come to see my movie and then to buy it. And that's why it has a totally different strategy. Sometimes it's very difficult to explain that to producers or directors. Say, but my movie said, no, I have to bring people to see your movie, then the movie will talk for itself. If they don't come to see the movie will not talk to anyone, nobody will see. You know what I mean?
Yes. Because I was quite puzzled. I was preparing for the panel, and then I asked Maya, okay, where can I get the trailers? And she said, like, website, and then either via mails or just prior to the event, Maya said, but we have a different trailer from the website made by the Croatian distributor for the Croatian audience, and then we have also Latido one, different one. So were you a bit, how shall I say, Maya, surprised that your trailer did not work, or?
No, not really, because I think that it must be a partnership. You know, the director's job is to make a good film, and the producer's job is to help the director make a good film and to pass it to the right person. And when it passed to the right person, in this case, Latido, they know their job best. So I think it's wise to have full trust in your partner, and they know how to access people they need to access.
Both of you, the question, were there any challenges when it comes to distribution in Croatia, concretely you?
In Croatia, if we're talking about Croatia, no, not really, because, you know, this is a good film, which we know all, it is a prerequisite. We had the great support from the distributor, but also Rajko is a well-known director. Cast is really, you know, top Croatian cast. Plus, it has this trigger with Nebojša Glogovac, who is a Serbian actor acting right-wing Croatian. So I think we had really good cards in our hands.
And what about the region?
Film is actually the best seen Croatian film in Serbia. It has over 12,000 viewers in Serbia, while the other Croatian films have 1,000. So this is really, really a good numbers.
Good. And what about you, Antonio? Were there any challenges, or you will also consider it as a success story and was easy to
I don't consider it until I saw the world. So we keep on working. I think we did a fairly good job together to position the film and to make it go all the great festivals that it has been attended with. It's a lot of positional movie festivals. But I want to tell you, I think it's an important movie that has to be seen. I will not be happy until it is seen by a lot of people because it tells an important story. But the director thought, I would be happy if I sell worldwide rights for a fortune and the producer is rich thanks to my work and I get a great commission. But that would be my
money.
Having said that, man is proud. There are movies you are proud of, and there are movies you are not proud of. And it's always great to work in a movie you are proud to represent. A movie that represents the values that you defend, and a movie that has the ideas that things have to pass into the world, and you are not just setting garbage that even if it sells, no? That you are defending movies that are things to be defended. And in that sense, the good thing about the prosecution is that it proves a free local story can be seen and put in the world all over the place because it's very well made.
Thank you.
And if I can just add one sentence, in the first panel we were hearing the numbers in the sense of number of admissions, number of, the costs of P&A invested, and these are the type of money we invest in production of the film. Yeah. So it's completely unscalable.
It's our national budget for distribution, let's say.
Yeah, because Antonio, the first panel was focused on a big audiovisual capacity countries. So we were comparing Tony Edman and some highlights in the UK. Yeah. So, yeah.
Ridiculous. I mean, unless we arrive to a unified European market, which is a huge problem and can be a case of horror, but at the same time, would really mean that you could compete in some of equal terms with other enormous countries. It's ridiculous. Like you would compare movies in the figures in China or in India.
Yes.
I mean, they go to see Indian movies, and they are the most seen movies in the world because millions of people go to see them, but we don't know them. We are in different school. We do the, and we have to be aware, and especially when you come to, you cannot compare the impact of movie in Russia to the impact of movie in Spain. We have 47 million people, and Russia definitely not. All these things have to be taken into mind when we compare. Germany, 60 million people. And when a movie is a hit in Germany, it is enormous. That doesn't mean that a comedy that works in Germany can work in the rest of the world. For instance, or a comedy that works in. So one has to be very cautious about the use of those figures when dealing. But the way I can say have to go high voice, it's a good friend.
I agree. So let's tackle the second example. We will start with Kamen, and then we will continue into the Western. So I'm curious when it comes to Western and the experience of the Bulgarian Film Center being involved in Western in terms of the financing and money. What I learned is that the Bulgarian Film Center has has support for distribution. So maybe this is not something that we don't have at the Croatian Audiovisual Film Center, but it's interesting to hear you have it. So how does it work?
First of all, thank you for inviting us here. It's always good to be in Zagreb during the Zagreb Film Festival. Thank you for being here as an audience. Yes, in the Bulgarian National Film Center we do have this, first of all we have a scheme for minority co-production, which is something I think very positive and very good. Then we also have a scheme for selective distribution support, which is probably the national support is the sum of this scheme is let's say your P&A costs for one film. In the first panel we spoke about. We have, let's say, 10% of our budget, of the National Film Center is going for distribution and cinema and support of cinemas, which means that we have around 650,000 euro per year for this support. And support could be given to Bulgarian films as well, as well as co-production, and European films as well. So if a distributor wants to make or distribute a European Croatian film in Bulgaria, they could apply to us, and they could have around up to 25% of the budget for P&A for this release in Bulgaria. The difference with the Bulgarian films, which are in a better position, is that we're giving up to 50% of this budget. Yeah, we are supporting the national titles, let's say. We also have 5% of the whole budget of the film center given to promotional, for promotion and festivals, which also means that if there is a very good Bulgarian films which want to go to Busan or to Karlovy Vary or to Cannes, in a case this year, we can give support for the team of the film in order to cover some costs for these big film festivals, and to back up a little bit because this 5% of course is not giving us the big budget to fulfill 100% of the costs for one movie being on a big festival. But it helps, I think, and Boris will give us a little bit.
And how much did you invest in production of Western on behalf of the film center?
130,000 euro.
Yeah.
Just maybe to make it clear. Hi, Antonio. Just to make it maybe clear, I'm a co-producer of Western, not the main producer, so it's a completed film, the same who did Tony Erdmann. And but still maybe we can consider it like low capacity because it's mainly in Bulgarian, not mainly, but big part of the movie is Bulgarian language. It's shot, the whole movie, entire movie in Bulgaria. There is no non-actors actually, there are just people we found for many years. We was looking and find them in different villages. So yes, then we can consider it like low capacity. But of course, in order to try to be useful, I can also give example from other our movies that maybe are more low capacity.
But let's dig a bit to Western.
So Western, we receive 130,000 from the National Film Center. Usually those times they should give us 175, but he was not so generous.
We were short of money this year.
But what I think for the financing of the movie was interesting that, and I think that's important for a producer coming from a small country, that we convince our partners to transfer a big part of the money from Arte to come on our side in order to fulfill the 20%. So they agreed to transfer 250,000 euro from Arte coming to the Bulgarian producer, which it's not very typical, but since we came from small countries, I think that's the only chance to participate in a higher production, a higher budget production without doing stupid, tricky stuff, to lie in your financial plan. Let's be honest, Okay. I mean, without too many deferrals. And this is regarding the financing, and it was fun. And actually, everything started with ACE.
This is the interesting point
it's
you
a
mentioned.
very good program.
What happened there?
That's how I met Janine, and then Janine called me one day, say, I have a project, do you want to check it? And then we start to work on this project. It was very tough to finance because Valeska doesn't make scripts. I mean,
only treatments.
Yeah, only treatments, no full script. So convincing a film center, I think not only in Bulgaria, but especially in Bulgaria, to finance a movie only on treatment was wow. So we applied 3 times in a row. By the way, the good thing in Bulgarian film centers, you can apply as much as you want. You can apply with one project until the end of your life.
They're very generous.
But there is something tricky. Every time you apply, you pay 200 or 250 euro application fee. So I think we took support for Western from the 3rd time, and I'm usually getting always from the 2nd time. But
so I read that Films Boutique is the world sales.
The world sales,
Yes.
yeah.
And when did they approach? Do you know?
Oh, very early stage.
At the very early stage.
Yeah,
Okay. And how did actually this buzz with Western develop? So it was nominated for the Lux Film Prize. It was.
Yeah, unfortunately yesterday we didn't win, but still it's good.
But you were premiered in Cannes, un certain regard, and how is now your schedule in terms of distribution in Bulgaria?
In Bulgaria we do it immediately Sofia Film Fest, because for this type of movie, using the buzz from the festival and all the PR going around the festival, it's
Which festival?
Sofia Film Fest.
So next year.
So we wait for March Sofia Film Fest, and immediately after we will launch it on theaters.
And you already applied for distribution?
I think it's in February.
Yes, okay. But it's on the way,
yeah. It's on the way. But it was supported also when we go to Cannes. Actually, going in Cannes with Western was very funny, because Valeska and all the producers, we promised to all the non-actors to bring them there if the movie is going there. Before we knew that the movie is going to be selected, but it was a promise, so we went with something like 24 actors.
And we have to say that the film was shot in a very small village on the border of
Greece, Bulgarian Greece,
yeah. Nowhere, you know. And the people were in Cannes. It was amazing. It was amazing for them and for us. And for
since we have experience before with our distribution, other movies that we distribute in Bulgaria, and one of them was Tilt, which was very successful. I mean, in terms of Bulgarian market, we did 150,000 tickets, which those time was, and it's still amazing for a drama movie. We did 4 weeks in a row, box office #1. But creating all the campaign those time, which, just to make it proud again from me, we win Effie Award, if you know what it is about, you know, the advertising stuff. And so we create a strong relation with a lot of kind of small sponsorship. So now, for instance, we just call our old friends from the previous movie and ask them for 20 tuxedos, and we get 20 tuxedos. So that's the way in a small country you find from many small places, small support. Because they're not going to accept to buy 20 tuxedos, and I cannot ask the people from the village to buy.
It's an eligible cost.
Also, parties are not eligible costs.
Media, yeah. But now coming back to media, since I was preparing for the panel, and I found out a bit alarming prerequisite for a sales agent to be eligible with a small film for media support. They need to sell it at least to 10 territories. It used to be even 20. So this was rather impossible for a small, also Bulgarian but Croatian film to qualify as such. And Kamen is aware of that, and Alex as well, he's my dear colleague from Barcelona. I mean, the money exists in media. But a lot of portion goes, yes, as I mentioned earlier, to distribution. But it's going to be really, really difficult and impossible for small films to be sold outside the country. Most countries in medium capacity, but now in Bulgaria, they also have different distribution schemes. And Maya, do you think this is something that is maybe missing as an additional financial support within the Croatian Audiovisual Film Center? Distribution support in terms of the financing.
Well, it is in terms of the finance. It is quite difficult to answer this, because the distribution support goes to the distributors, not to the producers. So it is a completely different thing. You know, when we so distributors, I can understand that there is a big challenge with a number of movies being distributed. And the companies that want to stay in the business and not go out of the business, I can understand that. But on the other hand, there is, having that said, it is even more, a challenge to have all these films distributed. I was not aware of how lucky I was until we were in Croatia, because every film is distributed in cinema, while in Spain, I was told, maybe Antonio can say, or Alex, that only 20% of the films produced are distributed in the cinemas. Spain films in Spain, I don't know if I'm right. This is what I was told. But the thing is that still all the Croatian films get to Croatian cinemas, but the question is for how long, how many screenings, are they really accessible to the audience? And there is a lot done there, you know, by the Croatian Audiovisual Center, by digitalization, by having the cinema network. A lot has been done there. Of course, there is always a question of multiplexes, but this is quite another topic than what you're saying.
Yes. So, Antonio, maybe you can refer to the situation in Spain.
I don't think that's a correct figure, but it depends on whether you are talking about having a theatrical release or a decent distribution. A theatrical release, most of the movies get their opening because they need it in order to qualify. So they find a theater in some forgotten town and they open the movie. A decent distribution is a totally different thing, and yes, only few and fewer movies are getting a decent distribution. What is happening in Spain now is that because of a very good law we have that force television stations to invest part of their income to the production of movies, the private television groups found a way in order to transform that into their advantage. And what is happening now is that since there are two very strong television groups that have 8 channels each, every time they promote one of their movies, they promote it bigger than any American movie, and they're doing a fantastic job. The problem is that those movies you cannot compete against those movies if you don't, your movie is not one, or you have sold it to one of those stations. If you have it sold it to the Spanish broadcasters, Televisión Española, you will not have that power of communication. So what is an advantage for certain movies and is resulting in fantastic box office for very few movies is also felt in a huge break between those and the rest, which before didn't exist. So this is a situation we are facing now, which makes that most of the distributors only want to distribute movies that are supported by two groups, and they produce very few movies, and they choose the movies they produce. So we are heading towards a situation in which the television will decide movies can be made or not, as opposed to the producers, which is a challenging situation we are facing. But you don't go to Spain. In the United States, only 30% of the movies produced, and even studio-produced movies, I would say that 70% of a theatrical release, the best go either to video or they find other windows. You don't know if you're going to have a movie that has a potential market, and you see and you test it with your audience. This is the challenge of filmmaking. It's all prototypes. So and the Americans are brutal with independent American movies that nobody talks about. I think there are like 300 used here, probably 20 theatrical release. Yours are way worse than European figures in the independent sector. You know. So, and in Mexico, for instance, you go to another country, I think little country now, and they are winning Oscars for their talent. They have an oligopoly in distribution, and very few movies distributed. It's a horrible situation. They just don't open. They open here for their feet. So it's a problem everywhere.
Just to have one more comment on your question, I think we should be very careful. I know that promotion is important and festivals are important and distribution is important, but we should be very careful not to defer too much money over there when we're talking about public funds and film centers, because we need the money to produce, firstly.
Yes, I agree.
Which was the second part of your question. I strongly believe that distributors should be supported. I think that they are in real danger of extinction. And they are facing new technologies and challenges, and now to release films in a theater is quite a complicated matter in a moment in which the audiences are being lured into series or lured to stay home and watch the movies from their different systems. So I do think that cinema should be seen in the theaters, and distributors are the ones that have the connection with the audience, and I do believe that we should support as much as we can. How? I don't know. But I think there is the countries that support the international sales of their movies and their support distributors, showing that they are way stronger in the market than those who doesn't. For instance, in Spain, there is no money for distributors and no money, and we struggle a lot. We really have to struggle to have our movies seen worldwide, whereas you see other countries where they have the support and they're way more competitive. And this is creating an imbalance in Europe that is unfair. Because you have to compete with only the quality of your movie, but against countries that come much better protected than what you can live.
I mean, we need both, and just the money exists, especially when referring to media, but it's not, how shall I say, I cannot say properly, but easily accessible and distributed in a way that we need to. We need, in terms of, we need small countries, they need additional funding, and media is reducing funds when it comes to the development of your film projects, and is boosting up the money for distribution, and then at some point we will ask ourselves, what are we going to produce? One thing, and the second thing is when it comes to creation films, after they are, you have a question, sorry.
No, yes, no, I just wanted to say about the money from media to distribute in 20 countries, that only reinforces the concentration in few titles, and it doesn't guarantee, and it doesn't open up to a wider presence of more different titles. This is a situation in which I have movies that I know they are very important, and those are the ones that are getting the money, whereas the other smaller titles, they don't get any support and they're harder to work. I would follow the logic, I would stop distributing smaller movies, which I don't, but it requires extra effort, because you don't sell that many territories at the same time. You work slowly, convincing one by one, and sometimes you don't match the dates of media. I think the system, it's good to have it. It's dangerous because it concentrates only in fewer and fewer titles. So you're supporting the success, not supporting the distribution of culture or the access to different countries or from different territories.
Yeah, and what I wanted to add when it comes to creation film, after all these premieres and being screened at different festivals, and it's difficult when you are sitting at your home to see any creation film. We still don't have a how shall I say, base VOD that we could easily access to. So yeah, but it's a bit different.
I think this is the place to add information I just saw this morning when I checked my emails, that the results of the slate scheme, selective scheme just came out. So Croatia has 9 distributors, so 9 projects with 47,700 euro. And Bulgaria, we also have 8 films which 40,000 euro. So
And Spain?
Well, I didn't check Spain, but Alex will make it immediately on his phone. The selective scheme just came out yesterday. So.
But I memorized the results for Spain.
And there.
Yeah, it's in total. Sorry for this spontaneous special guest appearance, but the results they came, and it's around, for that call they had 6 million for all Europe. It means the 34 territories plus 5, 35 plus 4, and Spain got 535,000 euros. Yeah, it's a big country. And I got the numbers for Barcelona as well, and the major beneficiaries. Yeah, I had to do it. It's not a joke. I mean, I promise. There's no better jokes than the ones that you're unconsciously making. But I'm a kind of entertainer, so thank you if you get it. So, but I have to do it because it's in that situation they ask me for those indicators. You know how it is. It's the business. As usual, the huge bunch of the core of our distributors are based not around Spain, are in Madrid, and it's. I have to tell you, the trend it's going down, because I've been there for a while, and the big names are being disappearing, and the trends about which type of movies are being selected are much more difficult. I can give you just an example. I don't know if you, all of you, know a movie called La Isla Mínima, in hands of a good sales agent, Vicente Canales. It's excellent, and the guy had a lot of trouble, and the movie didn't go through last year because it was on only 15 territories. The movie has been known as an English title as a marshland, and it's been distributed in all those territories, at least 15 or 16, and by one didn't pass the exam. So in another time, that movie was the incredible Spanish title to be all over the world, in hands of an excellent agent like Vicente Canales. But right now, it's quite difficult. So it's a trend in which type of movies we are supporting as media. We have to think about it. And which is the requisites and the budget and blah, 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 and so on and so. But this is one. So to make the story short, those are results. 535,000 for Spain, and out of around 6 million for this call, around the 45 plus 4 territories. Thank you, sorry. Don't ask me, because it's really a shame figure this time. So I prefer not even to do, a kind of a social thing. Thank you, sorry.
Just to clarify, so selective, so distributors, national distributors always receive the support for non-national European films. This is important. So Croatian distributor cannot receive support for Croatian films. It's always non-national European films. Are there any questions from the audience? Oh, you want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something because of the topic of the discussion, that how festivals could really help, and just wanted to say that a movie like, for instance, Western, if we was not select for Cannes and Toronto and all this festival, definitely we're not going to sell the movie for now almost 20 countries. And same like for another movie that we produced with Greece, Son of Sophia, which actually was a tough story because we was waiting with a ready movie for almost 1 year to launch it on festivals, because we couldn't succeed to go on a festival we wish or in the category we wish. And thanks also to the Greek producer, we was enough strong to wait, and then we went to Tribeca and we win Grand Prix with the movie Son of Sophia, and immediately, for instance, we sell at US market for 60,000. It was like the week after, so really festivals could open the door. Yeah, and that's it. And
at the moment, are you preparing anything, or?
Other movies?
Yes.
Of course, we're finishing one Bulgarian, Japanese movie, which was the first time Bulgaria co-produced with Japan. Of course, no really found money from Japan. I mean, they put some money. I don't know from where they found them. I really don't know. They pay the main actress, they pay all her fee, cost, travel cost, everything, but it was not state support, some private money. So the movie is called Picture with Yuki, and it's going to be ready end of this year. And the other one is a Bulgarian-Turkish co-production with Mahmoud Fazil as a director, Announcement, which also is going to be ready at the end of the year. And one last thing I want to share as a producer from a small country, we never split territories. At least our company, Chuchko Brothers, we never accept this deal. We don't split. For instance, if we do German-Bulgarian movie, we don't keep Germany for the German producer, Bulgarian for the Bulgarian market. We always split everything. And this is a policy, otherwise we don't accept to work in a co-production.
I see.
And believe me or not, when the first time we was convincing our German co-producer, not for Western, for Tilt, which was another company, okay, now it's just, yeah, and they was like, they wanted to keep the German territory. It was a big fight because they was believing that they're gonna get the biggest territory. And I wanted to get the German territory because I believed that from so big country I will have good money, you know? At the end of the day, what actually happened is we launched the movie, and in Germany we did 5,000 viewers, 5,000 tickets, in Bulgaria with 150. So the German's partner actually was extremely happy from this deal. But later everything was balanced because they sell it to Telepu, we sell it to HBO, so at the end of the day was equal. But I think this is more fair deal, especially when you come from a small country, not to leave the big territories to your partner.
Maya so comes from Interfilm, and Interfilm was an amazing example in terms of media, because they were really like, you know, on the track, applying one single, next single, and then slate. Yes, yes, yeah, 95,000 euros. Anything on your side that you would like to share with us? You are still probably all the time developing the projects. It's
well, of course, you have to develop projects all the time, and so if you develop them now, maybe you'll shoot them in like 3 years or something. So what we are now, what is in the furthest phase now is a new film by Vinko Brešan, which got media development and now Jurimash production money. It is a Polish, Serbian-Croatian co-production to be filmed in the beginning of next year, and all the other films that are in the slate, and it is 2 films and 1 TV series, are in the development. And in the meantime, we got another film from Croatian Video Center. So yes, we have quite years in front of us.
What about you, Antonio? I know that you are at the moment shooting your documentary, right?
I'm shooting a documentary, yes, with Jean-Claude Carrière about Goya, the painter. We don't know exactly where we're going now, but it's fantastic. Yesterday was a great show.
Okay.
Jean-Claude is such a creative person that everything we had planned has been made better, and now we may change what we want to do. But it is about Goya, the painter, but also about Buñuel, about Jean-Claude, thinking about the story of Spain. It's becoming fantastic. We were in the Prado Museum shooting last night in all the Goya things with him walking, and then yesterday went to where Goya was born in Zaragoza. About for Latido, which is I think what you told me, we have a great slate coming. So we will be having next year a movie by Rodrigo Sorogoyen, which is Spain's one of his camps. Last movie made us save 180,000 tickets in France. We have Champion by Feste, which we have helped the producers to find a production partner in France with Le Pape. It's a great story. We have a couple of fantastic Colombian movies, and one from Uruguay, Memos from the Cell, by born in Cannes a while ago, his first movies. So we have a great slate. And coming from Europe, we will be distributing the list of Sanucci movie, and we will have Marita and Nikia film coming great at Czech production with Poland and California and so we're very excited. We're really very excited with what is coming, and we have to start looking for material for the end of next year. As I say, the first part of the year we have very strong. But we have to look for this all the time.
And may I ask you, we are approaching the end, what would be your professional advice for films coming from small countries, from low individual capacity countries?
We have two fantastic producers seated there. I mean, Boris have proven that from Bulgaria you can raise a company and do a fantastic job. I mean, and we were proud to represent one of their movies, but it was in a prior existence. Now we are stronger, so maybe we should talk in the future. And of course, with Ira doing fantastic. So I mean, it requires a lot of faith in good talent. You have fantastic talent emerging, incredibly visual ideas, etc., and then finding the way to tell it so it is understood outcome. Because one of the problems we're seeing with some of the movies is that they are made very local for very local audience, and that doesn't work. But that doesn't mean that the story shouldn't be local. It's the way that you tell them that could have a more accessible way for foreign talent, and the rest work hard in production, build relationships, which is fundamental, build trust, so you can work. You don't have to find all the time a new person to do something, so you can repeat the partners project and listen to what they say. I mean, all those recommendations that everyone tells you.
And you need to be lucky to have luck. Yeah. Since there are no questions, and no, they are hungry, you know. So it's the lunchtime. I really thank you and appreciate you being with us. But just before we go, I still need to show a trailer from Western. So Western.
Nach Bulgarien.
Und von da?
Arbeiten, so wie die Rezeption.
Arbeiten also in Deutschland.
Very well. Und warst du schon mal von Gage?
In Jungen kennst du das nicht.
Und bist du Schütze?
Die ist komplett verrückt geworden. Hast du schon mal die Einheimischen gedacht?
Ja, nur. Deswegen brauchen wir ja ein Wasserkraftwerk.
Ja, wie geht's? Jemand ansprechen? Nee, ansprechen. Warte mal, jetzt. Ja, genau.
Кръщи поделът.
Откъде е това, Германия?
Браво и на двамата, браво. Колко ми си говорите с това немец.
Die Fahne ist weg. Da muss doch jemand neu gewesen sein, oder was? Valeska Grisebach. Пише надо. На него му е смешно, на теб ще се плаче. На теб ще се плаче.
Ich Soldat. Sekundär.
Gelor ли си?
Ich stehe nicht auf der Weide.
Du kannst nicht einfach selbstständig was drehen.
Wir haben ja was zu schaffen, was wir erreichen. Wir bringen hier Infrastruktur mit drin.
Dieser Kollege in dieser Kurve, großes Problem, mein Freund.
Mein Leben ist manchmal kompliziert. Ja, toll wird.
Meiner, hast du angewendet?
Wir miteinander hin, oder?
Mich hält nichts zu Hause.
Kennst du kein Heimweh?
Was ist Heimweh?
Thank you. Thank you.